When my sister and I were returning from our walk, we were in shock. The ramp I had installed for her was gone. Only bare steps remained, and right next to them stood Karen, arms crossed, wearing her usual smug smile.
Oh, where did your little metal slide go?
She drawled with fake sympathy.
Oh, right. I had it removed. It didn't comply with HOA regulations, you know.
I stared at her in silence. She did this on purpose. She knew exactly why that ramp was there. But if Karen thought she had won, she was gravely mistaken. A plan of revenge was already forming in my mind. The next morning, her yard was crawling with snakes. But it all started a few days before. Karen had always tried to make my life miserable. Everything about me annoyed her.
You slam your gate too loudly. You mow your lawn at an inconvenient time.
But the real problems began when I installed a metal ramp for my sister. It was convenient, safe, and finally allowed her to leave the house without any trouble. Karen, however, was furious.
And now there's this awful clanking noise from the wheels on the metal.
She huffed, standing by the fence. I took a deep breath. Karen, this isn't forever. I just want my sister to be comfortable. She rolled her eyes.
Maybe you should just carry her. Why ruin the house with this ugly metal thing?
I ignored her words, but within a few days I realized she wasn't going to back down. One evening, after taking my sister out for a walk, we returned home, only to find workers dismantling the ramp. What the hell are you doing? That's private property. One of them hesitated before answering.
We were told it violates HOA regulations. Direct order from the head.
I turned around. Karen stood by the fence, watching the scene with pure satisfaction.
I warned you.
She said with a smirk.
This house should look proper, not like the entrance to a hospital.
This is crossing all the lines, I replied. At that moment, I knew I couldn't let this slide. Late at night, I drove out to the countryside where a local farmer bred snakes. They weren't venomous, but they looked terrifying. Perfect. While Karen peacefully slept in her cozy bed, I released dozens of snakes into her yard. They slithered across her garden onto her porch under her car. I even saw a few nestling among her precious flowers. When morning came, I stepped outside with a cup of coffee and listened. A loud thud echoed as Karen froze at her doorstep. Her beloved lawn was now writhing with long, scaly bodies.
What is this nightmare? Who did this?
I pretended to have just noticed her. What's wrong, Karen?
Snakes! There are snakes everywhere!
I put on my most neutral expression. Oh, looks like nature decided your yard is the perfect home for them. Maybe try making friends with them? She swallowed hard, completely lost for words. I smiled. Now Karen understood. If you harm others, sooner or later, you'll get what you deserve.